As we gather to honor the past by the dedication of this roadside marker, we pray that you will continue to further our work of historic preservation.
When Elk Run was founded in the 1740s as a chapel of ease, it was within Hamilton Parish. At that time, there were approximately 50 parishes in Virginia. Each parish answered to the commissar of the church, who was an advocate in the colonies for the Bishop of London, who was appointed by King George. My name is Ed Dandar, and I am the chairman of the Elk Run Church Site Preservation Committee, and it's been in existence since 1999. Jackie Lee, curator of the Old Jail Museum in Warrenton, volunteered to be the historian for the Elk Run Church Committee.
I believe that this church was originally the wooden church that had been here in its place was part of Stafford County, and they built quite a few outlying as people moved west.
Prior to the Revolutionary War, each of the parishes in Virginia had a parish tax, and this put a hardship on a number of the farmers in the area at that time, principally farming tobacco.
The Revolution came. Nobody wanted to have an Anglican church because it was part of England. They didn't want that. Baptists and other religious sects came into this county, and Bishop Meade, who was the Bishop of Virginia at the time, rode by this road here, saw the church, and said it was in ruins, and this was about 1811.
During our first year of the archaeological dig in 2000, we had over 80 volunteers contributing nearly 1,500 hours. We had 2 Boy Scout troops and a 4-H club, and a graduate student working on an archaeological degree.
The purpose of archaeological research is to find out what people did in the past, and a lot of what they did is recorded in the soil and in architectural remains and other remains in the soil.
Dr. John Eddins is our volunteer archaeologist, and he works full-time doing this kind of work and lives nearby in Warrenton and volunteered to provide us technical guidance and assistance.
It's very important to establish a mapping system. You establish a grid, a Cartesian coordinate system that you lay down over the site. You drive stakes in the ground, you number them a certain way so that you can then map all the things you find.
I volunteered without any previous experience, and I did digging, screening, sorting, cleaning, pretty much everything else.
What I did at Elk Run was mostly troweling, which is where we dig layer by layer to find or see different artifacts that might be left by the church.
All the soil is taken to the screens and screened through it. We want to recover all the artifacts associated with the church, and there are also some prehistoric artifacts we've been coming up with as well.
I found an arrowhead.
I just found a piece of glass here in the dirt that I'm sifting, and we bag everything we find, label it, and put the unit where we found it.
This is an example of how the artifacts are stored. At the end of each season, all of the artifacts that were discovered and uncovered were cleaned and sorted and stored.
We were always looking for the gold crucifix or something like that. And the closest we came to was a quarter of a piece of thing in a broken pot.
It's a stoneware, and it has an incised pattern, and it's filled with a cobalt decoration.
You found out what kind of trading routes they had, which I find very interesting. Like some of the pottery came from a place in Germany. I found that extremely cool. Like it really shows all the artifacts mean something, even the nails.
They were used to help nail up the lath that the plaster was applied to the interior walls. They were also used in the construction of other wooden aspects of the church.
I think the most exciting moments were the fact that when we got the whole foundation exposed and we got the outline of the building in place.
It was built with a rough stone footer and foundation and with brick walls built on top of that. We found that there's no evidence of any slate roof tiles, so they may well have used wooden tiles. We also found no evidence of any kind of brick pavers or stone pavers inside the church, so it's very likely that the floor of the church was wooden.
What you've done is proven not only is it a cruciform church, it's a form of a Greek cross. Now, a Greek cross means that they're equal dimensions going north to south as the same distance east to west. And here, the outside distances are 56 feet. And this is unusual, this Greek cruciform plan.
One of our most exciting research discoveries was the finding of an adjacent cemetery to the church site during Phyllis Scott's research of the land titles and deeds in Fauquier County.
And John came up out of one of the other holes and came bounding across the cemetery, and he looked out and he says, "Those aren't tree roots, those are femurs."
With work done by Pete Patrone and Bill Hanna, we used a new technique called ground penetrating radar. We found 24 possible grave sites in that area.
One of the really fun things was the day that we found the Spanish coin.
This is the piece of it I found on my first dig day.
And what I really couldn't understand is how, considering how valuable money was at that time, I cannot imagine it falling out of anybody's pocket or the collection plate.
It was inspirational to me that so many people had wanted to become involved.
And so you get a much broader picture of who lives here, how they came to be here, and therefore you feel a greater sense of community from knowing the history of those around you.
My husband had a personal interest in it. His fourth great-grandfather used to own the land at one time, and then he was also a member of the church here.
I got involved with the Elk Run project through St. Stephen's Church. We spent a lot of Saturdays down there with the kids and had a good time.
And it's thanks to all these people's effort here and many more that we can now bring back Elk Run into the history of colonial churches in America.
Now that the archaeological work at the site is completed, future plans for the site include building a year-round shelter that will allow viewers to view the foundation of the church, so that we'll be able to have the inside where people can come in and look and see the excavation unit, and then over the old foundation put a colonial brick covering of that, so you'll actually have the size and the configuration of the church when it's all done. This will become a historic park, a place where various churches can hold services. Amen.